"You, a janitor? You think you can teach fighters?" The coach's laughter cut through the gym like a knife through pride, but the man holding the mop didn't laugh. He just stared at him, calm, silent, and unshaken, and when he finally stepped into the ring, his first punch turned that laughter into stunned silence. The smell of sweat and metal filled the gym air. Boxing gloves slapped against heavy bags. Fighters grunted. Music thumped through the speakers. It was the kind of place built on noise, ego, and sweat. And in the middle of it all, Coach Tyler Reed barked orders at his fighters. He was loud, confident, and undefeated, not in record, but in arrogance. Behind him, sweeping the floor between the mats, was Marcus Hayes, tall, quiet, his shirt faded and his hands calloused from years of work. He was invisible to everyone, just the janitor, but those who watched closely might have noticed the way he moved, the way his steps were balanced, the way he turned his wrist while wringing the mop, like a man who once knew how to throw a perfect jab. It started with a simple joke. One of the fighters had just been scolded by Coach Reed for being too slow. "Come on," Reed shouted. "You punch like you're cleaning floors." Laughter filled the gym. Marcus, still sweeping in the corner, paused for a moment, but said nothing. Reed smirked. "Hey, Marcus," he called out. "Maybe you can teach this kid how to mop and punch at the same time." The laughter grew louder, but Marcus didn't flinch, didn't even look up. He just kept sweeping, slow and steady, as if silence itself was his answer, and that silence made Reed's grin falter. No one at the gym knew that Marcus Hayes had once been known across the amateur fighting world as Iron Hands Hayes. He'd been a rising star, a man who'd fought his way out of the streets and into national recognition, but a car crash 5 years ago ended it all. It shattered more than his ribs. It shattered his future. He lost his mobility for months, lost his sponsors, lost his home. When he could walk again, he took the first job offered, a janitor at the same gym where fighters trained for glory. He didn't tell anyone who he was. He didn't want pity. He wanted peace. He swept the same floor he once fought on, and every night, after everyone left, he shadowboxed alone under the dim light, slowly, quietly, the rhythm of an old dream echoing in his bones. The next morning, the mockery continued. Reed was showing a fighter how to throw a proper hook. The kid couldn't get it right. Reed sighed. "You know what? Maybe even Marcus could do better than that." A quiet voice came from the back. "Maybe I could," Marcus said. The gym went still. Reed raised an eyebrow. "What did you say?" Marcus set down the mop. "I said maybe I could do better." A few fighters chuckled. Reed smiled like a man entertained. "All right," he said. "How about this? You land one clean shot on me and I'll give you a week off work." Marcus met his gaze. "And if I don't?" "Then you clean this place twice a day," Reed said, laughing. "Deal?" Marcus nodded once. "Deal." They cleared the mat. The fighters circled around like spectators at a coliseum. Reed bounced lightly on his feet, confident. Marcus stood still, relaxed, hands low. Reed mocked him. "Don't freeze up, old man. This ain't a movie," but Marcus didn't respond. He just watched. The bell rang. Reed charged first, a showy jab meant to humiliate. Marcus slipped it easily, almost effortlessly, like muscle memory guiding him. Then came the second jab. Faster, harder. Marcus stepped in, and in one smooth motion, his fist cut through the air and connected, clean, precise, devastating. Reed's head snapped back. He stumbled, fell, and for a second, the entire gym forgot how to breathe. Silence. Complete silence. Marcus lowered his fists. "You said one clean shot," he murmured. Then he turned, picked up his mop, and walked away. When Reed finally got up, dazed and red-faced, he demanded, "Who the hell are you?" Marcus didn't look back. "Just the janitor," he said. But one of the older fighters stepped forward, eyes wide. "No, he's not," the man whispered. "That's Marcus Hayes, Iron Hands Hayes." A ripple went through the gym. Phones came out. People started whispering his name. Reed's pride drained from his face like blood from a wound. The next day, Marcus came to work as usual. He expected awkward glances, maybe silence, but when he entered, something was different. Every fighter in the gym stood, no one laughed, no one joked. Reed walked over, a bruise still dark on his jaw. He stopped in front of Marcus, holding out a pair of brand-new gloves. "You belong here," he said quietly, "not behind a mop." Marcus looked at the gloves. "I'm done fighting," Reed shook his head. "You're not done teaching." From that day forward, Marcus became more than the janitor. He became the soul of the gym. He trained fighters, not just in punches and kicks, but in patience, respect, and humility. He told them, "Power without discipline is weakness. Noise without heart is nothing." Reed, humbled, became his student. He learned to listen more and talk less. Under Marcus's guidance, the gym began to change. There were fewer egos, more effort, more heart, and in time, Reed and Marcus became not rivals, but brothers forged through respect. Months later, one of Marcus's trainees entered the regional championship. Before stepping into the cage, the young man turned to Marcus and said, "Coach, what if I lose?" Marcus smiled faintly. "Then you learn," he said, "because no real fighter ever loses if he learns." The boy nodded. Inspired, he fought like a storm, and won. When the announcer called his name, he didn't raise his own hands. He pointed to Marcus instead, to the man who taught me to fight without hate. Later that night, when the gym was quiet again, Marcus went back to sweeping. Reed walked up and laughed softly. "You still cleaning?" Marcus looked up, smiling. "Old habits," Reed shook his head. "You've earned better than this." Marcus paused, eyes gentle. "Respect doesn't come from what I hold. It comes from what I give." Reed nodded slowly. "Then promise me this. Never stop teaching." Marcus smiled again. Never. He came to the gym to sweep floors. He ended up sweeping away arrogance, pride, and ignorance. The man they laughed at became the one they learned from. The janitor became the master, and through silence, patience, and humility, Marcus Hayes reminded everyone. Real strength doesn't shout. It listens. Real power doesn't mock. It teaches. If this story touched your heart, tell us where you're watching from, and if you still believe in silent heroes like Marcus, share this story. And subscribe for more cinematic tales that honor real strength, quiet courage, and human dignity.